Alrighty, hello. hello. Let's see who is here. Malik, hello. One Drunk Man, Claudia, Githarak, hello. Hello everybody. A little early stream today, compared to usual times. Snake Rap, hello, what's up? How's it going?
I wonder how many sticker claims I've missed. Clueless.
How many sticker claims you've missed? I have no idea, dude. You should keep track. You should keep track. Weird.
Ayo.
There we go. Hey yo, Space Cables, what's up?
Hello,
Nice
happy
hoodie.
hump day.
Thank you. Alright, Nacho, thank you. 18 months, thank you. Space 21, thank you. We got some plates to stack today. Yeah, we got some acrylic to stack today. Kill Switch, happy hump day indeed. How's it going? I hope your Wednesday is going alright. How are y'all doing? So Smoj, I didn't get to see you at the NK meetup. Yeah, I mean, I think the Smoj part is that I didn't get to go. Reagan. Yeah. Yeah, it just didn't work out. Like between accommodations and commitments, just didn't pan out. Next time. Hopefully next time it will be cheaper to go around that time. But yeah. Alright, let's just get started. I didn't even have a room booked? Wait, what? What did you do? What do you do last minute then? I ended up crashing with Wilbot? Oh, okay. Well, that's nice of him. That's pretty nice of him. Alright, we got some Staebies here. Are these the black ones? I don't know. It might be the clear one, might be the black one. I'm assuming the packaging shows the clear ones. It's probably the clear one. Or I mean like the whiter one. Frosted one. We'll open it up and see. I haven't opened these, as you can see. So they come in shrink wrapped here. So I'm gonna open them up. I think I think Patty had the darker one. A few people got the darker one, I'm pretty sure. Hello Malik, how's it going? Also, could have asked Heine if you could sleep in the Heine Bush LLC warehouse, but the Heine Bush LLC warehouse is not even that close to the meetup. It's like an hour and a half away or so, probably, because Mr. Heine is in Pennsylvania, and the meetup was in Morgantown, West Virginia, which is a little ways out. Yeah, like 2 hours away, pretty much. All right, so we have built one of these before. I mean, in fact, I actually have mine over here. My previous one here. I have my previous one right here, as you can see, with the SpongeBob dice up caps that I got as a gift. But we are building a new one today. All right, so sleeve, and it is indeed one of the frosted ones too. Hey Diego, your PCBs have been tested and good to go. Oh, nice. So I also don't have to remove paper masking, which is kind of nice. Very neat. Comes with the hardware all labeled, which is pretty sweet. I remember seeing this build guide by Mr. Alex, this QR code. Very simple build guide by Alex, and then basically the case assembly, you know, screws and bolts and stuff. And also for like hot swap sockets, you can also add the little M2s with the standoffs so that you have the spacers in between. And then here's the actual unit, which has already been peeled for me, which is pretty nice. Alex got the black set and did 2 short build guides on them. Oh, I see. That makes sense. That makes sense. I wonder if Mike would let people sleep in the warehouse. I'm sure maybe if he trusted the people, maybe, but who knows. I mean, I'm sure that the whole point of the meetup is also to kind of support local businesses around, you know? Which includes, you know, the hotel and the venue and so on. Alright, sweet packaging. Comes with nice magnetized lid here. This part is pretty nice. Lid that's magnetized, and also the sleeve here. Pretty sweet. Alright, well, since the PCB has already been tested, I'm just gonna go ahead and assemble it, but... Ooh. Nebula 12B V1.1. Or PCB here by Yiancar. Nice desk pad, I am fan. Yeah, this is an old one. This is back from... Oh my god, this is like years back. This is like one of the first couple of years of desk pads, and I think this was for GMK Voyager? Kind of an old set at this point now. I mean, like, it's been a while now since that set came out. But yeah, it's from that set. GMK Voyager. Ooh, okay, so pretty sweet here. All clear on the side, as you can see. It's all nice and clear. And then at the top and bottom, it's nice and frosted, which looks pretty cool. Alright, well. So for switches today, we have some Hoshizoras. Ignore the switch opener here. So these switches are linear switches from... well, I got them from 43 Studio. But I believe Dankeys also sold them at some point. But here are these pretty cool looking switches. They're kind of like shimmery blue with a light blue stem. These are long pole stems. I'm pretty sure this is like maybe half a mil shorter for the travel. But 63.5 gram long springs. Like 2-stage springs, I believe. And these are linear. They're looped with 205. And I haven't tried them before, so I figured maybe I should match the build with switches that are sort of, well, space themed, like Stellar. So Hoshizora switches to go with the theme. Alright. So alright, let's get started. Okay, so we get bump-ons here, a bunch of standoffs, and the hot swap standoffs as well. Maybe I'll put these guys later. Alright, so let's start with the hot swap stuff here. So the hot swap stuff is pretty easy. All you do is you just put the standoffs on the PCB and screw them on. So we have these countersunk M2s screws. Oops. The hardware is also better separated in non-configurator units. Oh, okay. So in the production, basically, the in-stock stuff, I mean, so for those who don't know, this is currently in stock on Space Cables, and I mean, I'm assuming people who are interested in it already ordered it. There are several colors, and like there's basically a black one and a clear one, frosted one. And there's hot swap and solderable options. This one is hot swap. So yeah. It dropped on Monday indeed. So these are currently in stock. Whether they will stay in stock for a long time, no idea. I do think that sales, kind of like in general, to be quite frank, are somewhat slow these days because people are either saving for the holidays or less willing to spend because of the economy and whatnot. But I would wager that there's a chance that you'll see them in stock even after the New Year's. I think. But yeah, anyway, so install our hot swap sockets there, and then now all I really just need to do is assemble this, which should be pretty simple. So basically go past the plate, right, and then gonna need the plate itself. So the 2 layers. So basically separate the bottom and the top here, and basically just line it up properly here with this part. I'm assuming I should be screwing these other screws onto from the top, right? So I can do that from the top too here. Before you peel the S65 plate, by the way, just double check that you even would need to. Yeah, that's why I took it out. I figured maybe I don't have to at all. Reagan, so I just took it out here just in case, so I don't have to go get it, you know what I mean? Did stream die? Huh. Twitch doing Twitch things? Oh, weird. Am I dropping frames right now? Seems to be doing fine right now. Maybe it just dropped for an intermittent moment. Amarade, hello, how's it going? 7 months, thank you. Hello, hello. Anyone else seeing Diego speed up and then slow down? Oh. Twitch doing Twitch things or Lightning doing Lightning things, am I right? Yeah, maybe it just dropped a few frames for a bit, which is kind of weird, but it happens. Alright, cool. So that's the plate that's done. So basically you're using 2 layers. One is like the 2 plate layers. And after you put the hot swap standoffs up, you can actually attach the PCB to the plate using the other side of and using the small screws. So there it is, 4 screws from the front and 4 screws from the back. And then the rest is pretty much just assembling the case. So for that, all we have to do is put these standoffs through. So I'll start with the corners because it's easier. I took the Salvation standoffs and had these silver standoffs customized from them. Oh, cool. That's cool. I figure I can just insert the switches afterwards because of the fixed plate separation. And then I'm just gonna put the top layer, bottom layer here, right? Fortunately, the base holds it kind of all together. Maybe I'll just flip it on. Oops. I thought it would be fine, but I was gonna put one of the screws on, at least. Alright, so just kind of like, we're gonna put a screw on for alignment here. Obviously it's not perfectly lined up, so these are still moving around. Nine Gogo, hello. Hello. Alright, so I just got 2 corners in so that the standoffs kind of stay lined up, right? So I can just now do the other ones really easily. Just making sure everything's in all the way. Oh, this one's like not going through because I stupidly didn't make sure that it was all the way through before. But it should be no problem now. There we go. Gonna drive back home, but we'll hop back on when I'm home? Okay. Have a safe drive home. Oopsie. Oh man, these standoffs. More like my fault. Oh, Mr. Gioran, hello. How's it going? Nathan Alpha Man, hello. What's cooking? Alright, so just like that, put it all together, put the final layer on, and screw it down. And since it's hot swap, I'm inserting the switches afterwards because I figure it's fine. Kind of just to get the case together first. Obviously, if it's solderable, you want to do the assembly first and then do the switches later. I mean, do the assembly first and do the assembly of the case later, rather. So you do the soldering assembly first, like all the switches and the plate and all that, and then you would just put it into the case. Which I'll do this. I'll do that with the build with the Stellar 65. For the macro pad though, I'll just do it this way because it's pretty quick. How's it going, Gioran? How are you? Am I wrong? But I think I saw that you got Twitch partner, Mr. Gioran. I think you got a check mark. Where is it? Where is your check mark? Show the check mark. Show the check mark. Alex told me that he recommends putting the switches into plate PCB before assembly so you can have it sitting flat on the desk pad. Now that's fair. So I would do that too because, I mean, especially for solderable. I think for hot swap though, just because I do have the two sides screwed down completely, I think I'm okay with it. Everyone bugging me about it? I mean, okay. I think everybody in keyboards who ever got a partner, like whoever got partner, made a big deal about it. Like we all like we're like, oh my god, I got partner. It took me forever, but I got it, and that kind of shit, right? Just because you know you came in later or whatever doesn't mean you don't get to make a big deal about it. Okay? Because that's a big deal. People start on fail on Twitch all the time, right? So it is a big deal. So make a big deal out of it while you can. You know, it'll be Twitch partner Gioran for a while, and then people will forget, unfortunately. But you know, You know, you're like literally one of my all-time favorites. Please. I appreciate it. I hope I'm not like bending a socket or anything like that. Alright, let's hope I got them all on the first try, you know? Like without any issues. Well, congrats, Joran. That's awesome. Did it take you a lot of times, or did you just get it on the first try? I didn't even know that you were streaming that much, because it's quite a lot of streaming for the requirements, unless they loosened the requirements a bit recently. Alright. Let's just check that this is working. Had a couple of apps in. That's fair. Ooh. Ooh la la, look at that. Alright, via Nebula 12B. Okay, I just need to test this though. Nice, so everything works. You got that bright AF RGB cycling left to right here. It's kind of fast, but there. Look at that beauty. Glowing. Sheesh! Look at the RGB. So 4 RGB LEDs at the bottom, and then of course 12 RGB LEDs at the top. But there we have it. I'll put caps on this later on. But there's our Stellar 12 already all assembled. Very easy, very simple. I love that you can see completely clear from the sides, and then it's frosted, like it's like frosted at the top and the bottom. This part is probably the coolest part about the Stellar, and specifically of like acrylic case in general, right? All right, so that's our stabless build here. But the latest one, they turn around in 1 day. That's awesome. Well, actually, the turnaround for the application for me was fast as well. What sucked was that if they decline me, they decline me like super fast too. But 1 day is very fast. I think it probably took at least a little while when I was applying, like maybe like a week. Alright, so here is our second unit here. This one is our 65%. So the 65% again is the layout itself is kind of inspired from like that like Magic Force 68 sort of layout, right? So it's this layout that has this this square shaped navigation cluster on the right side. And it has a 6.25 U bottom row that's fixed. We do have step caps lock support this time. And it looks like we may have... no split backspace support. But we do have step caps lock support, which is cool. Even on the hot swap. I believe on the solderable version you have everything. But not on the hot swap. So yeah. But the bottom row is fixed. The bottom row is 6.25. Okay? There is with BS on solderable though. You can but not in the hot swap case. All right. I assume that just has to do with the socket's footprint. So yeah. Well, let's open this beauty up. Whoop, there it is. And our PCB, which if it has been tested, it's all good. There's our feet here. Alright, let's leave the sticker inside for now. Okay. By the way, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask anytime. Just having some tea on the side. Alright, now let's get the plate out, actually, this time. So, I'm gonna take the first 3 layers here, which are the top layers before the plate. And then there are 2 layers dedicated for the plate. So there's 1 and 2. Alright? And then there's the 3 bottom layers. So there's 3 plates and then bottom. Right? Can leave this to the side. And I'm gonna check that the plate layer is actually intact. So looks good, actually. Looks perfect. Looks fine. Do you get Mech65 originally? Yeah. Yeah. I was in the buy. Can you hold it up to cam? Sure. Something weird with it? The plate? Oh, the plate is from CBB. I got the plate through CBB. It's a ultra high molecular weight polyethylene plate. Oh, can you hold the plate up to cam? Yes. Here. It looks fine. Is it supposed to be I don't see any damage with it, at least. Had some issue. Oh, I see. Looks fine. Yeah. You said there was a laser cutting issue, maybe here. Yeah, it doesn't show that here. I don't see the like an extra line or anything like that, which is good. Okay, cool. I need a Mech65 in my life. That lit up golden arch. Yeah, the translucent golden arch, like the M. All right, it's so cool. Okay, cool. I'll just put the spare separately here. Just put it aside for now. All right, so top layer. Wait, bottom layer, top layer. There it is. Okay, feet. And all right, let's get this all the hardware out. I have mono red devils on Mech65. Oh, that's cool. With the mech switches and yellow alu plate. Oh, that's nice. I was also thinking of doing something like that. I ended up using the vermilion bird switches, which are also kind of like, you know, mech switches. So yeah, I did that too. But initially I was thinking of doing alu, but I ended up opting for whatchamacallit, the plastic plate, because I just wanted to try something softer. Those are the mech switches? Yeah, the vermilion birds, yeah. There's a lot of screws and a lot of things here, so I'm just gonna separate them a little bit. Alright, great. Who's excited for the QK75? Not me in particular, but it sounds like you are. Super Sitch, Sandra, how's it going? How are you? How's your vacation? How's everything? It's going very well. That sounds great. Good to know that. I'm glad to hear it. All right, so here we have a PCB here with hot swap sockets. So this is a 65% layout here. Has step caps lock support, as I said, and everything else is fixed 65 or regular ANSI. So we do have to prep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stabilizers, which is basically a full set of them. So we'll do that, and then we're gonna put everything on. All right, so before I forget, I'm gonna put these bump-ons on the Stellar 12. I assume the X's mark the spot for the bump-ons, so I'm just gonna put them there. I'm here for the lightning and the lighting. My lighting not that great, I think, but ooh, and I tried soup dumplings finally. Life-changing, dude. Yeah. Soup dumplings are something else, especially in the cold season. Oh my god, I spent a ton of money on Broadway shows. Yo, what do you go see? Tell me more. Broadway's a blast, and it's totally worth it. I mean, assuming you're here for vacation, it's totally worth it. I mean, even when I'm here, I go see Broadway every so often. I haven't seen everything either, but I think the last thing I went to see was Aladdin, just because someone hadn't gone to see it, so just went to see it. Right, bump-ons. Why is life an emote? Why is life not an emote? Don't you feel something when you say, ah, life? Maybe that's what it is. Hello, that McDonald keyword is endgame and I'm calling it. Sounds good. Shinoto Keys, how's it going? How are you? Alright, let's get some stabs here. Is it designed or qlavier? Yes, so this keyboard is co-designed between Space, Mr. Reagan from Space, and qlavier. I've seen Into the Woods, Hadestown, Beetlejuice, and I saw a strange loop today. Woo! Wow, just going for everything. Oh, Into the Woods sounds so much fun. I mean, I have a sentimental relationship with Into the Woods. I actually, my first theater experience was Into the Woods, and so I have a very I have very specific emotions towards Into the Woods. It's a play that's close to my heart, especially the music, but the play in general is. I am only who I am. Hello, how's it going? Into the Woods was great. I've never seen a production in person before. Highly recommend. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen an Into the Woods production outside of like not at Broadway. So it's spectacular that it's back. All right, we're gonna need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and I think we get an extra here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we do get a spare here. Put it aside. Never have seen theatrical performances myself, but must be cool. But opera is really boring to me. Opera is different from theater, so that I understand. And yeah, of course, to see something like a live theater, like especially like something like Broadway's, or like at least in that pro level, is difficult. I mean, growing up, I would see like the VHS recordings for musicals. So yeah, that's pretty much my exposure to theater back when I was like younger. But yeah, if you do get a chance to like travel to New York City and like, you know, get a chance to like check out Broadway, like highly recommend. Like it's hard to not recommend it because it's such a cool experience in a way. It's very unique. It's kind of magical in a way, like all the props and the spectacular singing and dancing, and yeah. All right, so let's get our lube for the I'm gonna put the assembly stuff aside for a sec here. Broadway is freaking Broadway. Just this alone is worth coming to New York City. Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That is true. I mean, I know people who just literally just come here and just check out Broadway and then leave because, you know. Otherwise, you know, no very good reason to be in the Broadway area, specifically like the Times Square and Broadway area, because it's so crowded. And you know, it's nice to see one time or so, you know, like as a tourist, and then you're kind of done with it. It's super crowded. Like if you're a local, you obviously avoid it, other than for like train transfers, pretty much, like subway transfers. My brother hates going near there. I mean, yeah, I think anyone who lives here knows that you just don't go because it's just crowded. I mean, yeah, but yeah, mostly I am near there just for transfers and stuff. And yeah, if I'm watching a show or something like that, or like going to one of the stores that's only there. To be honest, I didn't see much in New York City apart from Times Square and Broadway. I mean, it is no different from a lot of city experiences. Like if you've lived in other bigger cities or other cities in general, New York kind of has a life outside of the center areas where it's kind of dependent on the neighborhood. Like, you know, some neighborhoods have a large density of like galleries or art. Some places have a large density of like restaurants and bars and clubs and that kind of stuff. It all depends. I mean, the cool thing about New York City is that it's kind of like all relatively accessible because there is a public transit system that everyone uses. So that's kind of like a big main appeal of it, I think. It's not far, and you know, New York City being a coastal city, you do have access to the river and just like water nearby, and then Central Park is pretty unique, kind of like this gigantic park in the middle of the city. Yeah. I love Broadway. I do miss the stage door, though I also understand why that's not a thing at the moment. Yeah, that's fair. I went to Little Island yesterday, and the architect and me loved it. Ooh, Little Island! I remember when they had opened. They opened during the pandemic. I remember going there a few times. Yeah, it's nice. It's pretty lovely. The whole structure, kind of like above the water. It's pretty cool. I actually really like how New York City uses their piers in general. Like, if you go to, like, let's say if you go past the bridge over, like past the Brooklyn Bridge over to Brooklyn, like the Brooklyn area, if you look near there, they've repurposed a lot of the piers, and some of them they've decided to make parks out of it. Like they've made like green areas out of it. They've made like climbing walls. They've like repurposed these areas for all kinds of things, like courts. But yeah, I really like how creative like New York space gets, given that, you know, it is like a coastal city with a limited amount of space, because Manhattan itself is an island. I bumped into Dad Radcliffe the other day. So random but amazing. Wow, that's cool. Just like that. Wow. Was he like surrounded by people or something like that, or was it like what was the occasion? Yeah, was he getting mobbed? I'm kind of curious. I've seen celebrities like out there before. Like I've seen a bunch of people before, but they usually are kind of having their own, yeah, like their own lives, you know, like they're just hanging around. I actually don't often see them being mobbed unless like it were a public event, or unless they like kind of like were open about it. Yeah, most of them do kind of live a little bit undercover, like they just kind of like have clothing that's not as revealing of who they are, or people just tend to be respectful of their space and they just kind of are like, oh, are you this person? And they're like, yeah. But it depends. I did get to say hi and shake his hand. Wow, that's cool. Dang. Didn't ask for pictures or anything because I didn't want to call an unwanted attention to him. That's really nice. That's so considerate of you, Sandra. Like, that's honestly, people don't do that enough, right? I think. That's so cool. That's like a memory to remember. The trip was worth it for that alone. I mean, I'm sure the fangirl in you was like, ah, just like, oh my god, it's a celebrity, and it's specifically, you know, Daniel Radcliffe, right? So that's really cool. That's really amazing. Yeah, I've like stumbled upon like Lin-Manuel Miranda. I've stumbled upon like some like government people. I'd be like that if I met the lightning keyboard. That's not true. That is so not true. Nobody on the streets has come to me and said like, "Are you the lightning key?" No one says that. No such thing. I'm just a normal person. And I'm sure I would be indistinguishable among the masses. If every city were built like Amsterdam, it would be awesome. Amsterdam, huh? I wish I could visit Amsterdam. I've never been to Europe in general. I've only made a transit in London and some other airport, and that's it. Never really got out. I've never been to Europe to travel. So one day I will make my way out and travel. But yeah, I've never been to Europe. Amsterdam's really nice. I mean I've heard. I know a lot of people who I have friends who studied abroad or are from Europe, like different countries in Europe. You know, I obviously know a lot of people who have traveled. So cool. That's right, they ask if you're the Teja typer. I've seen Diego mod. Oh my god. I got to go once on a school trip? What? A school trip to Amsterdam? Damn. Amsterdam looks like an awesome city to live in? Yeah, I think so too. I would love to live in any city that has wide usage of bikes in general, because I really like cycling and bikes in general. Though I don't have a bike at the moment, I used to, and it's something that I've been meaning to get back into, or not get back into, rather get into seriously, because when I had a bike was when I was still a student, so I didn't have much. That has weed. Fortunately, a lot of places now do, I guess. Also, I've already gone past the phase of weed, to be honest. But yeah. Want to reduce car use? Simply being in Amsterdam, good city design can literally reduce pollution. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, city planning is very, it's very important. Historically speaking, though, most cities are not so very well planned because of the way they grew and like the way, you know, like it was just not planned government-wise or leadership-wise, etc. Like, actually, New York is one of the most planned cities, most well-planned mega cities, rather. At least for the US, right? And that's only because New York's original name was New Amsterdam. Guess what it was? Guess why it was called New Amsterdam. And then it was called New York later on. Are you calling weed a face? No, Mom, it's not a phase. Yeah, fortunately for me, it was a phase. I think I got past it once I stopped smoking in general. So yeah, kind of like I don't know, just kind of passed for me. I don't partake, like I could partake anytime I want it, but I just don't crave it, don't want it all the time. Sometimes I get invited, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, but whatever. Feel pretty whatever about it. Don't feel any of the compelling elements of it that I once used to feel, which is interesting. Like I kind of yeah, I don't know. Before I used to be kind of like, oh yeah, but now it's like whatever. As an out-of-towner, biking in Manhattan seems so intimidating to me. I think biking in Manhattan seems intimidating to anybody in Manhattan as well. But I think once you try biking in Manhattan, you realize that it is possible to bike in Manhattan while keeping yourself safe and all those things. That said, there are, yes, yes, cars do drive dangerously sometimes. And yes, there are places where it is not as viable because, you know, they're not as protected and people kind of curse out bikers, right? That said, there are surprisingly a lot of green lanes, as in like a lot of places where like green roads or green lanes where like basically bikers are like have a lane of their own or they're protected relatively. But that said, I mean, New York City, it is dangerous to like use any kind of vehicle in general because just people are kind of aggressive, kind of like mind their own business and aggressive type. So I get it. See horror stories about biking in the USA. Okay, yeah, biking in the USA in general, I feel like it's not very well developed. To be quite honest, it's not very well developed. There's most places, I think, prioritize cars over everything else, like over pedestrians, over bikers, over any kind of other smaller vehicles as well. So that's actually pretty common. Yeah, I would say that's pretty common. Like down when I moved down to like like Maryland, it was like kind of unsafe. Oh, Soren, hi. Anyway, have a good stream. Bedtime. Okay, bye. Have a good night. That was fast. Came in and went just like that. Do you had a BMV era? What's BMV? Oh, greater DC area. Baltimore, Maryland, Virginia. I was not that close to Baltimore. I was closer to DC. But yeah, I did live in the DC area in the DMV for a bit. Not too long. About a year and a half or so. Just like was working there. You know, crazy thing, a YouTuber compares, I guess, Houston and Amsterdam. That's interesting. That said, I do think the roads maybe in Texas, they're like larger, and so maybe it's more viable. But yeah, I understand how it could be seen as kind of weird. Acrylic plate, have you tried one before this? Yes. How is it compared to other materials? Like a stiffer palm? Yeah, it definitely is on a bit stiffer side. Kind of feels like more like a singular unit. Like it's not as super flexible, but it still is plastic at the end of the day, so it will still be, you know, less stiff than any metallic plate for that matter. That said, for these guys, oftentimes they are layered, more, you know, more thickly. Basically, they're thicker, due to the way that you have to do a stacked acrylic boards. So they can feel a bit stiffer than like maybe like a standard, you know, plate. But I would say acrylic still does feel relatively less stiff compared to any metal plate. He could not go from one destination to the next in Houston by walking. Seriously, he literally had to walk on highway sides. To me, this is outrageous. Oh, yeah. I would argue that in the vast majority of the United States, it is impossible to move around from place A to point A to point B within a large metropolitan area without a car. It's largely impossible, I would say, in the United States. Like, cars are essential in the US, except for very small number of places where there is either public transportation, which is extremely rare as far as that goes, or you drive a smaller vehicle of sorts that takes you from point A to point B. New York City in that aspect, yes, is an exception. So I would say the places where you could probably get by without a car are New York City, maybe parts of Chicago, and not all of it actually. If you live anywhere outside a little bit towards like the suburbs or in the greater Illinois area, then you need a car probably. DC, Washington DC, some parts of it too. Again, same thing. If you live a little further out, like in Maryland or Virginia, where the transit is not as frequent or accessible, then you need a car once again for convenience. San Francisco, LA, doubtful. You probably definitely need a car there. I mean, specifically for the urban sprawl that it is. I mean, car, motorcycle, whatever it is, right? Yeah, so for most places, you definitely need a car. Gotta live in Tokyo if you don't want to drive, or New York City. But yeah, I mean, there's places in Asia that you can live in without a car. Seoul, Tokyo, Hong Kong, you know, Singapore. I drive a clown car not for space, just because I love clowns. That's interesting. The YouTuber did make some videos talking about car-centric cities, USA, Canada, and some other countries too. Car-centric place literally bankrupts the city in many cases. I could see that. Yeah. I mean, that's I would say, generally speaking, it operates differently from the rest of the world if you are, like, if the car is a necessity, right? Which arguably in a lot of places in the world it isn't. Like, you actually could get by, like, it is an inconvenience, but you can still get by without a car. But yeah, I do think in the US there definitely are like so many places that you kind of just need it to even like live a normal-ish life. Yeah. Yeah, Asia, a lot of Europe, yeah, and then like I know that some parts of Latin America too. Rarely, but yeah. Some states in North America got bankrupt because of this. That's fair. In Vancouver here, until I got to full work from home because of COVID, I had to have 2 cars for my wife and I. Now we have only one and it works, no problem. That's good. I believe a brother of mine also had that kind of situation where they had 2 cars for work because they basically worked at separate places, right? So they had to commute every day. But then once they started work from home slash had the ability to do kind of like remote work or more congregated work, they just downsized down to like one car at home. That makes sense though. And work from home has been a blessing for a lot of people, I know. But yeah, in California you definitely need a car, just generally speaking. Pretty much most places, so yeah. Is public transportation not good outside New York City? Yeah, no. Not 95% of the US is not easily you can't transport yourself easily with just public transit. Yeah. Like even buses and whatever. So yeah, it's not very viable. New York City is definitely the exception. In New York City, having a car is worse than using public transit because there's just no space for cars. Parking, that kind of situation is just terrible in New York City. Because it is an island after all. In some parts of Mexico, people still get around town with horses. I mean, yeah, it depends. Or like just motorcycles, you know, scooters, that kind of stuff, right? I mean, a lot of Asia's like that too. Just get by with scooters and other smaller vehicles too. Or even buses, but a little different. My manager has given me full control over if I want to come back to the office. Fat chance. Yeah. Yeah. If I were full work from home completely, which I'm not, I still go in. I mean, specifically because like my tasks require to be in person. Yeah. I doubt I would decide to not do that. You know, like it's a luxury that I would 100% take all the time, like anytime I can. Having the freedom of working from home is just, it really is something else. US cities are way too big. You'd be surprised. There are cities out in Asia and out in other places that are also gigantic, you know? So I don't think US cities alone are just too big. It's just also that the US is a large landmass. I mean, the size of the United States, right? I think thinking about that specifically. And another thing compared to like let's say Europe is that in Europe like it is a large-ish density of people in a relatively small landmass as far as like Europe is concerned. Like you can travel by bus, train, or whatever, you know, between European cities relatively easily. I mean, train system, that's a big one to talk about here in the US, right? There's like it's very faulty here, or lacking rather. And that's like something that, like a lot of people who, you know, will come to US will talk about, like visit. Only thing I hate about public transportation here is that I have to pay with coins. Oh, yeah. In the Southwest, it is mostly car-centric, so moving requires a truck or van or some kind of large vehicle, yeah. Thoughts on the Zoom TKL? I haven't taken a close look at it. Are you talking about the new one that Kanki's recently posted? Let me see. It's like the Zoom EE TKL, I think, right? I do think that a lot of the stuff that Melitrix and like, you know, like Wutre and like all these like studios are like doing with like pretty cheap, like affordable kits is kind of somewhat like they're like trying like kind of like tried and true kind of formulas, and they're working pretty well. So I can't not recommend it. because it's not like they haven't done other keyboards before. Yeah. So it all depends on what kind of need you have. Do you need another keyboard, and what's your budget? That kind of stuff, you know? Would I recommend it? I don't know. Like, yes, I think it looks like it's a good deal for the you know, for the buck. It's like a good bang for the buck, right? Have I tried it? No. So I don't know. So firsthand, I can't tell you like an opinion of how it is. Yeah, just because I haven't tried it. And yeah, people don't tend to send me like kits of this sort very often, which makes sense. Because I mean, if someone's asking me to build something and it's like a kit like that, then if it's not a product review, then it probably is like a regular build, and a regular build is probably gonna be as half or as costly as the board itself, so it's probably not worth it for a lot of people. Do I need another keyboard? Always yes. N+1 rule, huh? Just whatever you have is N+1 is what you need. N+1. You heard it yourself, kid. Diego only builds Janes. I mean, well, not quite, but you know, I definitely haven't built like a bunch of boards that people like are like, oh, like, have you tried this? Like, have you tried like the Zoom blah blah blah, or like, you know, like the QK something, and you know, insert two letter acronym or just board name plus layout number. Kit, you know, under $249 US or something like that. I really haven't tried a lot of them that I think like people like maybe Alex or Apiary have. Mostly because I just like, you know, haven't been sent any in particular. But that said, I feel like if they recommend them, I trust their opinion. I bought the 6 keyboard group buys this year. Damn, 6 is a lot for a year. That said, I mean 6 means like what? On average, you're getting 1 group buy every 2 months. It's quite a lot. The annoying thing about the Zoom TKL is the fact that the plate has ISO support, but the PCB doesn't until R2 comes out. Oh, that's kind of weird. Yeah, like I don't understand having support for something that's not universally supported. Like, if you're gonna do ISO, just give that to people. If you're not, just make it fixed. Fix ANSI, and say you'll have an ISO thing later on, and you'll just release that separately. That's my take on it. I mean, I understand if, like, for, like, I don't know, maybe a PC or a plate, maybe it's because you wanted to, like, do the universal thing. They also said, got no win keyless, but said most likely will be added later. Oh, I see. Maybe they're just trying to reduce the number of SKUs, right? Now you talk about it, a lot of cities in Asia are so big, but transportation is super good. Yeah, exactly. I do think there's a ton of cities in Asia that are humongous, you know, but people do travel through public transit, so that's a big difference, and that's definitely a fault of a lot of cities, like maybe like in the States or in places where, like, you know, cars are essential, is that the public transit system is just not as good. Also, no 7U support on the Zoom TK, which is kind of weird to me, but I'm not part of the target audience anyway. Yeah, that is true. I mean, I do realize that I've seen people like in specific, like, you know, specific income, or not income, sorry, specific budget levels that people like assign for themselves. Like, they're saying like, okay, I'm gonna spend this much, and you know, they buy like a specific kit, right, that's available at that bracket, that it's like the best of that particular bracket, right? And like, for example, like for layout choices, I definitely do think, like, especially for like people who ask for hot swap versus solderable, for example, right? There's a lot of people who don't mind just having, you know, 625 win key, right? Like, or standard ANSI, right? And likewise, like, I do think at a certain point, a lot of people, because maybe they've been exploring keyboards for a while, they develop a preference for alternative layouts, like having step caps lock support, split backspace, 7U, that kind of stuff, right? I mean, because it does take a little bit of exploration, right? I think it does take a little bit of like exploring what's out there to kind of know that you actually like that stuff, and like, or to even realize that people like that stuff for a reason, right? Maybe because, you know, you also are like providing for your own keycaps, right? Which has, you know, wider compatibility support, and also the fact that you are, maybe you're able to now build your own keyboards, which can make a difference too. But yeah, 7U being fixed has become more of a norm since some people have adopted it. Definitely been seeing it a little bit more on like hot swap stuff, especially because having 7U fixed, for example, for like a 60%, it allows you to do win keyless, win key, and HKB with the same PCB and having fixed bottom row, which is kind of nice. I mean, 7U HKB is what I mean. State public transport in my country makes me want to cry. Yeah. ISO or ISO? I say ISO. I say both actually all the time. Kind of interchangeably. I say ISO or ISO. It doesn't matter to me. But it's true that lower budget builds do tend to be 625. Yes. Also because of the key set compatibility. Because it fits. It fits all together. Like, it fits that the compatibility for the key set is reduced and has 625 only, which also supports a lot of standard ANSI OEM boards. And at the same time, you also can also get a custom keyboard kit that fits that lower budget. So you can keep everything sort of low budget, which is nice. Was trying to help choose a board who had unlimited switch budget but only 200 for the case. Personally, I think spend more on board and get milky yellows. I do agree. I do agree with NA Jack 100%. I would rather get deck out the kit as best as I can. So, but then making sure the bare minimum is there. So making sure, for example, you have normal, decent stabilizers, whether it's Xerox or whatever you get, you know, or cherry clip-ins, whatever it is, just regular working stabilizer, like a new set of stabilizers. Don't like reuse anything like if you don't know what you're doing, and having switches that just are tried and true, you know, like GAT yellows work fine. You know, there's so many that work fine nowadays, right? Like there's so many, just like you could even buy like, you know, I mean, maybe like a pack of alpacas is like pretty more expensive now, but there are a lot of switches that are pretty cheap and they just work great. Or, you know, you can just grab and, you know, a batch of cherry MX switches and mod them and figure that out yourself and maybe develop a preference for it. But again, everyone's like kind of like tolerance and thoughts around it, right, are just different. And so I think it just, perspective just changes a lot, I think, depending on how far you are into a hobby too. The one way that my layout preference has changed the hobby for me is the Keycaps that has UK ISO is an insta buy. I honestly feel bad for ISO users, specifically if you have a very specific ISO layout preference, like if it's, let's say, German or UK, or even way worse is probably having Nordic layout preferences with your specific country's layout or language's layout. I honestly feel bad because the reason a lot of ISO support has gone phased out is because there is actually a relatively small demand for it, right? A big push for it was when the numbers that like came out of group buys themselves, right, was low. Like people were like, do I really need to include this international kit or whatever, or these extra keys, and how many people who purchase are actually using them? And basically, like, you know, the numbers kind of speak for themselves, and the answer is basically no. There's not that many people using them. So that's sort of a big one, I would say. He was wanting to do a budget 1800 with Telios. Telio kind of expensive though. Basically paying 250 more for symmetry, Inkeep says. Yeah, I mean, preferences, the more you have preferences, the less picky you are, and the more, the more choices you want to have with your keyboards, the more expensive it's going to be. And that applies generally speaking. Key sets, keyboards, artisans, whatever it is. You want to have more choices, you want to have alternative options, it's going to cost you money. Every decision you make of like relating to your preference is going to cost you money if it's outside of the standard, of the bare minimum, right? Like, yeah, if you're a 40s enthusiast, it's going to cost you money because you do have to buy extra kits outside to be able to support it. And I understand that people are like, oh, why don't they just include it all in a base kit or whatever, right? Like, why is this all not supported in a base kit? And I do agree. I think it would be fine to have it all in a base kit, but then what's the break point at which people who are outside of your group will say, F this, I'm not gonna pay another $10 for this thing just to support something that I don't even use. And what's the break point for that, right? Because I think in an ideal world, right? In an ideal world, we make one base kit for everything. Space bars, 40s, ergodox, international, you know, everything. And it's just all supported in one big base kit. Ideal. But that would be super expensive, right? So, yeah, what's the cutoff there? International kits sell more when they don't cost 60% of the base kit. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate the way, so JQ UK kind of points something out that's interesting, but it's a bit unfortunate, but the formula for calculating, for example, like a GMK set's kitting is not quite linear. It's not like you're paying a specified price per key. They take the whole kit and then price it out. So you ask for a quote for that reason, and pretty much every time you ask for a quote is kind of like slightly different, right? Like you kind of don't know what you're gonna get because that pricing is determined by the manufacturer, in this case GMK. And so it always depends on who is the manufacturer. Some do actually kind of like consider your kits based on per key, like it's like number of keys per size, whatever, multiplied by this many keys. And it's just linear like that. It's like a formula. It's just a linear combination. But not in every case. So yeah. I'm from Germany and I don't buy international kits anymore since it's just too expensive. You're super limited on key sets. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's super limited. Yeah. It is just very expensive. I grew up with ISO-like layout too, actually. I actually got into ANSI basically because I was forced by whatever was available. Do you have a preference between CRP, DCS, and GMK? I do have a preference towards like cherry profile stuff. So I think I do have a preference towards GMK over DCS when it comes to thickness of keycaps. For PBT, I think CRP is my favorite for like widely available stuff. OG Cherry PBT is also pretty good, but it's very rare and very expensive. And yeah, like OG Cherry or GMK double shots for ABS keycaps is definitely preferable, especially if I wanted something that has like color options, which is pretty, which is basically what GMK enables people to do, is to have color options. Poor aero job, money, keyboard, poor again. I keep on doing the loop till I get a rotation. Yeah. There's no French layout I like. French layout, so complicated. I've seen the French Canadian layout. I've seen the I've seen the Belgian layout. I've seen the different French layouts too. There's like Azerty, Qzerty, is it W30? I forget. But there's like so many variations of the French layout, and it's so confusing. But it like just supporting all of that is like, when you think about it, it's pretty daunting for any like person who has to design like a kit, right? For a key set. All right, so that should do it. Okay, that's just the first layer here, and the second layer just goes right on top. The best solution to keycaps is everyone only uses one U ortholinear flat. Yeah, I mean, that's why DCS was kind of a thing, you know. Actually, I would say DCS became popular because of the ability to use them in any row, as long as the size fits to your particular layout solution. Perfect for, especially, perfect for ortholinear kind of layouts, ergodox and whatnot. Honestly, all ice is shit because of that short L shift. I mean, if you grew up with it, right, and your muscle memory is like that, then I do wish we had more blank options, TBH. Imagine having blank CRP, dude. Imagine having all these different options that we get. Just blanks, just so you can just get a bunch of blank sets and mix and match however you want and call it a day. You know, whether it's GMK or EPBT or whatever, just make it blank. Like make those high quality keycaps that people, you know, will talk about. Make them just, you know, just have blanks. That'll be great. Like Sharpie on Legends. I mean, that's up to you. Yes. I've seen a number of, you know, I think once, if you ever get into vintage stuff, if you ever get into like any vintage, you start seeing that there's people out there who actually do do that, like they like Sharpie on whatever the heck they wanted onto that particular vintage board or whatever it is. And I'm just like, oh, the horror. Like some I'm like, wow, like this person's handwriting like sucks, but also like specifically the worst part is like, what I don't even know what it says on the blank, like what's the legend that they were sharpieing in the first place. No clue. I would like some CRP and DCS blanks. I would do GMK CRP and DCS blanks for sure if I could. Alright, time to test out the stabs and yeah, mostly the stabs here. Just making sure everything's fine. Can someone make an easy bake oven for keycaps so I can just make my own? I think palm blanks are nice, TBH. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely would like to see just blanks in the different materials, right? In different colors, or even just like simplest colors. So black, white, beige, grays, and a few other things. I can't stand typing on non-sculpted profiles. Yeah, I used to be able to type on like DSA just fine. I did do DSA for a while actually when I started the hobby. And I did own a few DSA sets and whatnot. But yeah, nowadays I do prefer like the cylindrical, like regular cylindrical layout. Sculpted cylindrical like cherry. Last blanks I kind of remember were the EPBT blue, pink, green sets. Yeah, those, I know there's the Infinity, right? Sets. There was a guy, Scott80, who ran a run of GMK blanks, kind of like made to order. That there was that group. By one point, it's very difficult to arrange because everything had to like hit MOQ, or like you had to buy out the MOQ if you didn't, or it was kind of complicated. But yeah, I've seen that. I've seen all sorts of things, but yeah, definitely not often. Don't see that kind of stuff often. I don't even consider cherry being cylindrical. It's more like slanted. Well, cylindrical refers to the top surface though. It's not referring to the sculpt itself. Cylindrical refers to the top of the key. Like it's cylindrical because it's like this. Spherical is circular. The contour is circular. If you made a contour map of it, it's going to be like a topographical map. If you made that, it would be like circular. Oh, hello, Hinker. How's it going? All right, let's test out these stabs here. Okay, sounds fine. Alright, pretty good. Spooky Caps, 6 artisans, thank you. Yeah, SA profile is like a spherical sculpt, yeah. Oh, Spooky Caps, thank you so much for gifting a sub. Thank you. Also, sorry if you hear like the clanging sound, that's like the heater thing. Weird thing about New York City, if you never heard that. Shouldn't be clanging, but it does. Alright. So I assume the next step should be our... Wait. I need to attach the base to the... I should attach the base to the, to this first, so I can just have it separately done. And then I'm gonna put all the switches, and then I'm gonna put into the case, and then assemble the case all together. Is lightning keywords fan 69 crawling in the vents? Imagine. That's kind of sus. Amogus. Okay, so let me see here. Standoffs, case assembly, feet assembly, standoffs. 6-degree angle or 8-degree angle? What do we want? 8, 6, 8-degree or 6-degree? Let's see. So we have our... Maybe I'll do... Maybe I'll do 8 degree this time. I think I did 6 before. Alright, so separate these guys though by length. These are for the case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Amon Gus. Alright. Oh, I guess I don't have enough for the 8 degree anyway. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I guess it's gonna be 6 degree by force. So I don't think I was included all the standoff. Oh, no, never mind. No, I do have 2 different standoff sets. Okay, 8 degree it is. 8 degree it is. Okay, so does the orientation of this matter? I don't think so. Okay. Feet assembly M2 times 6 millimeter screws. Amon Gus, not a bad name. I mean, maybe if Gus was the first name and then Amon or Amon was the last name, I think that would be kind of a cool name. It would be like Gus, like, you know, their name is just Gus, you know. Like maybe like, you know, if we're like in Spanish, it's like Gustavo or something, you know. Gus, just like a regular name. And then on the when they sign, they could just sign like last name, comma, first name. Amon Gus. Among Us. Is Mr. Amon here? No, he's not Among Us. No, wait, he is. Sorry, I'm being an idiot. I'm just being an idiot. Amon Gustavo, yeah. Gustavo Amon. Gustavo Amon. Man, that clang is crazy. I don't understand it. The infrastructure. What kind of infrastructure condition does it take for it to for tubes to clang like that? It's insane. When I first came to New York City, it shocked me. It's like, man, I must either live in a really bad building or it's just like that everywhere, and apparently it's like that in a lot of places, in New York specifically. So I was kind of surprised. All right, so feet are done. So now we get to work on the switches here. So just put those in now. Watch Lee Rossman's video on New York City situation. I'm pretty sure I've seen some of the... Well, I haven't seen the video specifically, but I've read some articles about New York City steam and energy and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty interesting. There's a whole history behind the steam system here in New York City, and a lot of it does have to do with like the way Con Ed operates and the way the city planning happened and a few of the previous pandemics, and like the belief that like heat would kill pathogens and whatnot. So yeah, there's a lot of that. And so a lot of the system here, the heating system, at least in a lot of these buildings with steam pipes, is such that so it's kind of interesting. It's such that it like the essence of it is that it's basically designed so that it heats up the room so much that you actually are kind of forced to open your windows. And the idea behind that, it's like it was because of the belief that not just the heat treat and like, you know, you would deal with pathogens with the heat, you would also air out the room, you would ventilate the room, and so that would also help prevent you from catching something. But yeah, a lot of the radiator and steam pipe system and stuff, and specifically the way like a lot of apartments are laid out, it's also because of that. And so like they run really hot, and they need to be maintained regularly, but if they're not, then that kind of clanging can occur. But it's interesting. Oh, I think I bent that pin. Radiators are no joke. Those things get hot AF. Oh yeah, they're like piping hot. Those things definitely burn you if you accidentally touch them on a very cold day that they're like running hot. It's pretty crazy. Like you actually, well, you guys see how I have some. I freaked out for a second, but I probably should check those anyway. See how I have some posters there? Actually, one of them's kind of crooked, which is making me think the adhesive is getting off. So I have a radiator on that far corner of the room, and that's main radiator I have in my room that heats up my room. And the problem of having that in one corner is that the heat is uneven throughout the room, which makes it really hot near it, and then kind of like cooler on this side. But the problem with putting posters like that is that the adhesive, in my case, I don't have them bolted to the wall. Like I don't have nails going to the wall, right? I just have like 3M command strips or command hooks and things like that, right? Like Velcro strips and such. Those are strong, but I would say every winter I need to replace them, because with the temperature changes that happen in the room, they actually come off. Like I've been woken up in the middle of the night because like one of them like just completely fell off and like fell onto the floor, and like it like, you know, just like broke. So I've broken a few frames like that because they just come off. So I can't buy expensive frames because otherwise I need to be worried that they might come off with the adhesive. So, but it must feel like a sauna? No, fortunately not. So fortunately it's not that, my room fortunately is not very, it's not that humid in the winter. So that part is nice. Like it's fine. Like I sleep fine at night. Bolted to the wall, fuck it. As a renter, I don't want to do that. I mean, I could, but no, it sucks. They'll charge me afterwards, and I don't want to pay that price. But who knows? Maybe it's worth it. To be honest, just pay the fee. Just pay the fee. Bolt it to the wall to just pay the fee. It's the money that I save from replacing anything. And the trouble. So maybe you're right. Maybe I should just bolt it to the wall. I'll consider it now that you've said it. I thought about it before. Before I wasn't sure because I didn't know how long I was gonna live here. But now, it's like, maybe I should just consider it. I've been here for a bit and, you know, whatever. You've already probably spent the fee in frames? Yeah. Or like, you know, or like strips or Velcro strips or whatever it is. Yeah, probably. Sucks. Now that I think about it, that sucks. Smooge. When I was in the apartment, I got one of those tiny desk fans with an alligator clip and the bendy arm and put it next to circulate the air. Yeah, I used to do that before. Now I'm fine, but I have a system for the ventilation. Like my ventilation here in the room is actually pretty good, but yeah, in a different apartment I did something like that too. I actually do have one of those bendy arms too with the clips. Comes in kind of clutch to have something like that. Have definitely bought all sorts of random shit to adjust to living in apartments. It's snowing like crazy here in Chicago today? Oh. Nah, it's not been snowing here. It's still warm enough that it won't snow, and I don't even think it's that... Oh, no, actually, no, it's humid enough that if it were cold, I think it would snow. But today... No, today's still not freezing temperatures. Maybe overnight it is. But, yeah. It rained a bit, like, last night. I think if it had been a little bit colder, it would have snowed. I mean, I imagine the Midwest is much worse, but I mean, as it always is. Definitely haven't seen much snow here in the city the past few years. Doesn't get cold enough, I feel. The wind kind of blows it all away pretty quickly. It's still pretty warm in Tokyo. It's been a pretty warm. It's been a pretty warm winter. I mean, like warm season in general. Warm few years even. Haven't really seen much happen, like, winter-wise. Like, we get some cold snaps occasionally, like, every year, but I would say it's arguably been warmer winters every year. So, yeah. Hello, today's build looking awfully stellar. Thank you so much, Eric. How's it going? How was work today, dude? Or wait, do you work today? I only saw you talk about music in the Discord, and so I wasn't sure. Still at work? Oh, okay. I was like, maybe you're vacationing or something. Oh, whoops. Also, do you know the McDonald's in Times Square closed? How? Oh well, did they get overrun with competition from Jollibees or something? I mean, Times Square is a fierce place to open, man. I mean, McDonald's is kind of weird to hear that though. McDonald's is, I imagine, would be pretty popular down there. The iconic McDonald's. That's true. That's true. It is one of the bigger ones in the city. Oh, there's another one oh, so maybe they just moved. Oh, okay. I see. Oh, that's too bad. The shiny one? Yeah. I got to hug the yiancar last weekend. Oh yeah, how was that? Actually, yeah, tell I need to talk to you more about the meetup, dude. It sounded like it was bomb. I saw Salvin's videos, and like I think like, you know, like Waldo and Boblotsky and all these people were there. Like, everyone was there. I've been to Times Square once and my dad fell for the free CD scam. Holy shit, the free CD scam is that's like a classic. It's like a Times Square classic. They hand you these CDs. They're like, oh, free music, bro, free music. Damn. Yeah, basically CDs. They take card nowadays, by the way. Awesome. They you know, it's like, hey, free CD, bro, or here's a free USB drive. Free music, bro. We stream it on Spotify, bro. Oh man. Crazy. Storming last weekend though? Yeah, it's been storming recently, right? Oh, 99 Go is back. I hope your drive was okay, uneventful. Quick question, do you need anything extra to use IEMs, or can you plug IEM straight into a PC? You can plug IEM straight into a PC generally, yes. Some IEMs do benefit from having like, you know, from having like an amplifier, but no, or like a, you know, like a DAC. And an amp, I mean amp, no. Actually no, you don't need to drive them. From a DAC, they may benefit. But normally, yeah, you can just plug them in. Like this is like a 1/8 inch. But all you need is the right connector. Some IEMs don't come with 1/8 inch cables, so you need the right cable for it. Sometimes it depends on your IEMs, though. Yeah, I know some people who just use them with the dongles, like for iPhone or whatever, and it works fine. I mean, I use mine with a dongle too. I actually have the Apple DAC dongle, whatever, and I use that on my phone sometimes. But I don't carry my IEMs too often. I use earbuds a lot more. Any recommendations IEMs then? Depends on your budget. The budget can go from very little to very infinitely high. There's folks in my server who spend thousands of dollars and they're still going for more. So the range is very large. So you need to define your budget first, and then you can go from there. Moondrop area is a good rec. Yes, the Moondrop line in general is pretty good. Like Moondrop B2 Dusk, right? Moondrop area is pretty good. I'm currently using Moondrop Variations actually, which is in the 300 or 500 range. And then there's more. But yeah. Sean is hello. How's it going? They're always North SMH. Oh, meetups. Y'all need to organize meetups. Wait, Space Reagan, why don't you host a meetup? Do it a Space host a meetup, dude. Just host a meetup. Instead of having to go, just host it yourself. Tell the people to come over. I'm just tired of over ears, always messing up my hair. Yeah, I prefer using earbuds or headphones. I mean earphones in general too, or like IEMs, you know, compared to headphones. Like I do use headphones. I like them. But I feel the same way as you do. Which is that they mess with my hair, or they just kind of get sweaty every time, you know, that kind of stuff. It's not very comfortable, to be honest. Alright, let's get this. Do you know? Wait, what? What's your favorite switches? I have an exclamation switches command, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I do. But you can check that one too if you want. Use this. Oh, damn it. Okay, I'll just put the I'll find the standoff in just a second. I'll put this on first though. Just want to put it on. I don't like using IEMs because I get oily wax buildup no matter how many times I clean my ears. Oh yeah, some people just have more earwax buildup. That's true. I'm definitely the type who doesn't as much, but yeah. It all depends. Everyone's different. Where'd that? Oh, here, found it. I don't even get wax, I just get grease? Oh. Oh, I see. And my in-ears slip out? Damn, that kinda sucks. Need to fix the orientation of this. I syringe my ears out probably once every 6 months, otherwise it just gets painful. Damn! Oh, that sounds awful. I'm sorry. I definitely don't have as much trouble when it comes to my ears. But that said, I also don't have like the best hearing and whatnot. I think when I was a kid, I remember I got like an infection. Oh, come on. Okay. There you go. I'm constantly drying my ears with tissues when wearing IEMs or just my AirPods? Wow. To say, that sounds very uncomfortable. After like an hour of use, I can feel my left AirPod start to move. Whew. I see.
Hey Dogo, hope all is good. Have a sub.
Hey, JTJ, what's up? Thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate it. All's good. Things are going. Ooh. Alright, there we go. Standoffs, all done. Alright, now just a matter of putting them all together. Tough part is over. Alright, so it's 1, 2, 3 pieces and then plate assembly. And then the rest of them. Just do them one by one maybe. You know what's annoying? I like to hear music while commuting to uni, and commuting is like an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's a long commute. A little bit of paper left here. And I gotta dry my ears mid-commute. I feel gross that people watch me even when it's literally water. I mean, I guess more like the fact of like having to take off your ear, like your AirPods or whatever, and people are like, I mean, or like, you know, you're like, maybe people are just like looking at me. Because, you know, they probably see you every day if you're commuting every day at the same time. But, I mean... Should I go for the Aero 75 or wait for QK 75? Or even something else? I'm really indecisive. I wish I could chime in. I don't know too much about either. I trust that the other content creators who have done reviews for them have good content on them, though. The fact that I'm shoving a tissue up my ear with a finger is what I think drives attention. Well, if you're shoving it in to the ear, that's a little different. Yeah. That's going to definitely attract some attention, yeah. Alright, awesome. We're pretty much done here. Sheesh. Nice. Alright. Let's test it out first. Boom. There it is. Nebula 68B. Let's just switch a few things here because I don't use it that way. That's fine. I don't really use. Okay. Huh. Okay, cool. All right, key tester. Alright, nice. Everything works perfectly. Hell yes, RGB, POG RGB. Poggers champions. Alright, let's put some bump-ons now. I do like the little X marks for the bump-ons because it pretty much forces everybody to put them in the same place, hopefully, and in the most efficient place, I guess. Effective. Alright. Poggers. Alright, what keycaps shall we put on this bad boy today? These two, I guess. These have X cuts instead of edges this time? Yeah. In case the feet were installed flipped over. Oh, I see. Makes sense. Makes sense. Let me see. I have a few options here. I recently got GMK Oni, which is an option that we have. I got that from Mikibo. I also have a bunch of other sets. Let me actually double check here. I have Serica, I have Striker R2, I have Birch, I have Maestro I'm already using, never mind. And then I have some other stuff. Fundamentals with purple accents. Oh yeah, we can do that. Striker also lit. Yeah, Striker also lit. I have Hammerhead, which would also look pretty nice, I think. Oh, why am I naming all these blue sets, to be honest? I guess I'm just kind of biased towards it. Also, I guess because this is blue. I have GMK Cyan, which is like a very old set that I don't have on the board right now. That's another viable one. I have GMK Polybius too. So I'll just do a poll with a few of the sets that I've named. So key set. So I have Oni, Striker. I'm gonna just be biased and put a few more. Hammerhead, Polybius, and Cyan. Why not? A little different. Muted. I haven't gotten Muted R2 yet. I'm waiting for Muted R2 to ship. Mine hasn't shipped yet. I'm waiting for that. I'll use Muted next time. Cyan is a throwback though. Alright, there is some options on the poll. You know what's kind of cool about the poll right now that I just noticed? It's like the side profile of the Stellar. The Oni is like a short name, and then Striker is like a longer name, and then Hammerhead is like the longest name on the poll, and then Polybius is slightly shorter, and then Cyan is shorter again. Didn't that already ship? Krelby has extras up. It's shipping. It's shipping. I think I'm like last batch gang for Muted R2. OMG! Yeah, I mean just something random, okay? It was unintentional actually, but it just kind of went that way. Last batch not even getting the Christian treatment. Let's go Oni. I guess Oni might be the one here based on the poll. Alright, gonna have some more tea. I get my Muted tomorrow? Nice. I think I got my tracking, but I haven't gotten it shipped yet. I don't think I saw the update yet. Oni Pog. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go also like wash my hands and stuff because of like the loop from the stabilizers. And then yeah, I'll be right back. BRB with the key set as well. Okay, I am back. Alright, so here is GMK Oni and additional kits. Let's see, I have extension kit, which I don't think I'll need. Novelties, I'll probably need that. Alright, maybe I should pick my novelties first. So I know those are probably here to be picked. Let's see. So what's interesting about Oni, GMK Oni, is that it has a novelty spacebar, which is kind of cool. So I'm gonna try using that. I'm actually kind of happy that I actually don't press all the way at the right side, so this pat print is never gonna wear off that easily. So that's nice. Right, and then let's see, more novelties here. Do you guys organize? You should see my shelf. It needs so much work, dude. Really? I can just send you a link of how I decided to organize my stuff. It's pretty simple. I have like this IKEA thing, and then inside of it, I just have all my sets in like those like these latch boxes. Let's take a look at what novelties I have. Just the enter. Okay, I guess I'll use these guys for the Winky, the Oni caps. And then maybe this enter, I don't know. Okay, I think that's fine for now. I don't know about the rest yet. UV print shouldn't wear really. Have you seen Grisyan pick on GH? Says so shine, legend still crispy. Yeah, I think in general they don't wear out as quickly as people say. Or people like think it will. They do tend to last pretty long. I actually remember I was using my GMK Triumph Adler Royal Alpha. You know that set? And that one also has half printed legends, I guess, and that one's still fine. And I have parts of that set that are kind of shine too. So pat print or the new UV print? Oh, maybe it was the old pat print. I don't know. I don't know. Now that you mention it like that, I'm not sure anymore. Olivia's also is double coated with clear coat, something we added. Oh, that's sick. So that's never gonna fade. I mean, like, not gonna fade quickly at least. That's dope. I didn't know that. One local guy got a board that went through 2 owners without a single scuff. He managed to strip the anodization with his hands in 1 day. Holy moly. What? How? Why? That's crazy. Damn. That's very those have very kind of like 7. Damn. Apparently it's common recurrence with him. Damn. Yeah, that sounds like that just sounds like it's very very heavily Very heavy on the chemicals on them hands, you know? Oh well, some people just have very heavy hands like that. That guy's sweating acid? Yeah, any chance they can look into their diet, perhaps? But that's it. Yeah, that sucks. That's a bummer, honestly. If I were that person, I'll be bummed out. Because it's like, you definitely don't mean to, you know? Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper. Yum. I love burgers. I would like a double from In-N-Out. Probably karma doing something. The guy exit scam after sending a dented board to someone. Oh, damn. Okay. Oh, okay. Then I don't feel as bad anymore. Welp. Karma it is then. Oops. Wrong. Order here. Oh, come on. Oni one's a good choice. I like it. It's I would say the contrast is not as amazing on the alphas, but in person it's quite visible, so it's not a problem. But it is true that if you take a photo of this and the angle of the picture is a certain way, the contrast is gonna look kind of crappy. No doubt about that. But nonetheless, still a cool set, I think. I mean, the colors are relatively simple for what it's worth, right? So. Oh, I get to like abuse artisans today in the sense that I had to put so many on here. Maybe I'll just put a novelty on the left side and an artisan on the right side. Let's see. I have an R1. What R1 keys are there here? Just this one? Oh, I like the little horn one. Also, Diego is an excellent choice for everything. Please. Is it safe to use isopropyl alcohol for cleaning lube? It won't really do too much. You're better off just using a dry piece of paper, to be honest. Isopropyl is not gonna dissolve it. I mean, it's gonna help. It's not gonna dissolve it. Because like a lot of lube is like it's PTFE, right? It's like grease. Yeah, it's not gonna dissolve it really. It's gonna help clean it a little bit. It like I don't think it'll cause many problems. Like as in like it's not gonna damage the plastic or anything like that. That's on like you know that it's on. But yeah, it's not gonna fully remove it either. All right, we get to pick lots of matching artisans if we have them. If not, I'll have to go get more or something. But all right, let's figure this out, boys. Ooh. Okay. Maybe we should blue theme this board. So maybe I need to get some more blue stuff. Fugol. Wait, which Fugol? Fugol. Wait, where is it? Oh, right here. Yes, thank you. Yeah, this was a good choice. Yeah, I like it. Maybe I'll do the... The floor is kind of low. Gonna see how to... Maybe I'll do light and dark. Not sure. Hold on. Trying to figure this out. Maybe something like that. It's like blue artisans on this guy. And then on this, you can do some matching stuff-ish. I don't know if I have 3 of it, like each thing, but I do have a bunch of other ones. Let's see. I think I have a bunch of Earls. Put some Earls on there. Maybe some Cthulhu's. Oh wait, do I have? I think I have 3. Oh well, okay. I don't know. Just gonna put whatever. I don't know, I'm just gonna put stuff that kind of occurs to me here, okay? So don't blame me if it doesn't look great. Artisan galore. Yeah, literally. Just kind of putting all kinds of things. Alright, well, this one's just here for show, really. But because I'm not really using it. But let's type on this one. Alright. Okay. Fuss from the GMK set. All right. Let's get this up and turn off the music, and I'll move the mic over and we shall go and try this out. All right, great. Iki Aurora, is that you? It's probably the same layout, right? Like the 68 style. Okay. All right. So tonight we have this. This is the Stellar 65 from Space Cables and Qlavier, co-designed by them. And here's a 12. It's not plugged in, but it also works. I guess I could plug it in. Let me see if I can find the cable here. Yes. There it is. Just a bunch of glow. But this is currently built with, these are both built with Hoshizora switches. These are long pole linear switches from 43 Studio, and they are lubed with 205. Alright, let's give this a shot. This is GMK Oni for the key set. And again, this is Hoshizora's on the stacked acrylic Stellar 65. Here we go. Oh, wrong timer. Whoa, 140. That's probably one of my fastest ones out of in a while. Damn, that's pretty good. Holy. Confirmed. Weave sets and stacked acrylic cases make you type faster. Easy. It's because of the seller. Yeah. Stacks on stacks. Oh, top 10 daily. Actually, go. Oh, that's pog. That's sick. All right. Anyway, that's exciting. That was pretty fast, including even with the mistakes I made. Ooh, maybe I'll break my PR at some point soon. I'm definitely getting close. All right. Here are the mods, so you can hear them all. Here you go. Can we get that right shift again? Oh yeah, that right shift slaps, doesn't it? I heard it too. I was like, ooh. Sheesh. Yeah, that right shift slaps. And here's just a bunch of artisans on a Stellar 12. You should check daily leaderboards again. How do I check it? Oh, here. Daily. No, daily. That's all time. Daily leaderboards. Oh, I'm 11. Look at that. Lightning XI 11. Now I am 11th. Perfect. Perfect for my name. This is worth being screenshotted. Ta-da, just frame this. Lightning 11 on 11 daily leaderboard. Cool. Very nice. Is this GMK Oni? Yes, this is GMK Oni. Let me see. Did I miss any questions? If there are any questions, feel free to ask again. If I missed anything, you should do words per minute betting, maybe odd or even. That could be fun. By the power of anime and stacked acrylic. Yeah. Sounds very firm and solid. A bit dull, but it's unique for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think stacked acrylic cases definitely have a very specific kind of sound profile to them, I think, in general, because they're, it's all acrylic. It is firm. I would say it's not harsh, that's for sure. It's nice. It's nice to type on. I actually do have the Stellar 65 built with other switches and different keycaps, pretty sure. Let me see if I can go get it. I think I have it in a sleeve somewhere. So I'll be right back. Let me bring that. Never mind, I found it in the box here. So this is the other Stellar 65 that I had built the previous release. So let me show you guys what that looks like. So this one is built with oh man, I forget what switches I had on these. Oh yeah, that's right. This one I had these Greetech black switches with, I think, Zeal or Telio bottoms, or Gateron bottoms maybe, but the clear bottoms and Greetech top and Greetech black stem is what these were built with. These are some old switches I had done, but they're pretty smooth. And this is DCS raindrop reverse for the key set. And I built this in the first round of this when I when we had the first Stellar release. It sounds completely different, I would say, because of DCS profile specifically. And so you can hear how it sounds here. I'm just gonna type based on what it says here. So okay, and a racing motorcycle. So that's DCS profile, right? So kind of different. So here are the mods for that. Conversely, the GMK set sounds like this. there it is. Those are the differences between these two guys. But yeah, both blue themed, funnily enough. Kind of coincidental, but I think it fits the look of the acrylic really well. So they sound very distinct, very different. DCS very different from GMK. Obviously the switch is also different. That will also factor in. But just to kind of show you that there are two completely separate ways of building this, and they will sound completely different. So yeah, I believe this was soldered back then. So yeah, this was a solderable build. Not sure if it matters too much. This one didn't have step caps lock, if I recall correctly. But yeah, this is from the first run. Okay, well, I think that should cover at least for the typing part. Do you pick up any of the recent Goron DCS sets? No, I've been super tempted. I've been tempted to get DCS, Solarized Dark. I've been tempted to get what's that other set? 9009, White on Black, a bunch of the others. Yeah, I've been tempted, but I have. So I have this set. I have Cherry Replica. I have the original DCS Rebel, the Red Alert Rebel one. And then I also have the new Red Alert. And so I have a few sets. I have Cream Cheese and Green as well. So I have a few DCS sets already. And I figured that I didn't want to get more right now. But I've been super tempted. Trust me, like they do look really nice. Especially 9009 looks really good. What stabs did I use? On this one I have Staebies right now, which I think, are they currently in stock in space? Staebies, do you guys still have stock? And then on this one I actually don't remember. Oh, on this one I guess I just used cherry. They look like cherry screw-ins to me. Yeah, I think these are just cherry screw-ins on this one. Yes, there we go. So you can get Staebies on space as well. Yeah. So if you order, like, you know, you can actually order the same stuff. So you can order maybe a hot swap or a solderable stellar, along with a macro pad, as well as, you know, some stabs for your build. You'll need 5 stabs for this one, because you need 4 for the mods here, and then 1 for the spacebar. Can you hear the difference, please? Yeah, I just did that, but yeah, sure, you can kind of hear the general difference here. Oh, in stabs? The switch is different too, so it's gonna sound different, but because also the keycaps are different. So yeah, I don't think you should be hearing too much of a difference though. But I would say the switch and the keycaps probably gonna make a bigger difference than the stab only. But yeah, some people do say like some stabs sound a little bit different, yeah. But to do it like a 1-to-1 comparison, you would have to have the exact same switch, and same keycap, so, or like the same type of keycap. So yeah, I would have to switch this out. I mean, I could put this keycap here and whatnot and do a comparison, but I think it's kind of moot in that sense. Yep. Top one sounds better. Yeah, it's all preference. Some people will like the way this one sounds. Some people really like how DCS sounds. You know? And so yeah, it kind of just depends. Top one GMK? Yes, this is GMK. So here you have 2 iterations of the Stellar. This is R2 or 1, so to speak. Oh my gosh, look how the this one had clear bump bonds and they shifted a little, but no, they're still in the same place relatively. But yeah. And then this is the macro pad. Actually, yeah, I have the first version of the macro pad too, right here. Yeah. Pretty cool. Any changes between the two? There are some quality of life improvements, right? Reagan? Like for example, this one has X etches for where the bump ons go. there are like the plate compatibility is like the PCB plate compatibility is better. USB port, yeah, USB port is slightly wider. So there are some quality of life improvements that were made between the second and the first run. So yeah, functionality wise, they're of course like the same. There you go. Mr. Space, Mr. Reagan has all the deets here, all the juicy deets. So I'm excited. That's good. I think it's a pretty nice board, especially for the price. And the micropad is pretty neat. It's actually pretty convenient to have a 12 key pad like this. You can also add function layers and stuff, so pretty easy to use. I'm in Texas, so my unit should come quickly. Oh yeah, yeah, it should be like a 1 or 2 day maybe, like after it like enters the system, postal system. So yeah. All right, let's just show it off a bit here. So here is our Stellar 65 and Stellar 12 macro pad right here. You can see, pretty nice. Can you believe R1 didn't support Lindy? Yeah, SMH, dude. SMH, my head. I know. I love how you're so converted to Lindy usage, Mr. Reagan. But right here, I love how the clear side looks on this board. Like, you know, the side look versus the frosted top and bottom. When you look at it from the side, it looks so good. I'm going to make a cursed one-off unit that has the macro pad attached to the right side of the board. Oh, yo, do it. Yes, let's go. Yes, do it. 2 PCBs in 1 case. Yo, that's gonna be lit. Basically like a full size with 65%, right? Anyway, looks super nice. Port looks clean. Just overall, pretty solid case here. I do like the way the feet look. Just looks nice, and the way this has like a circular cut, right? What I like is how the standoff kind of looks like it's filling the entire space because of the way the light is reflecting, like diffracting and reflecting inside of here. So it looks pretty cool. Yeah, the side is sick AF, yeah. So it kind of looks like this whole thing is made out of brass or whatever, you know? So that's the cool part. Anyway, yeah, really like it. If you like the 68, this like Magic 468 style of layout, this keyboard is pretty good. Elquan, hello, how's it going? Yeah, I can show you from a different angle here, from my front cam. This is how it looks here. Yeah. Just a slightly different angle to GMK Oni as well, if you were wondering how the colors looked. This is direct light, like it's very bright lighting, and then I'm just tilting it a little bit so you can see how the blue sort of changes with different amounts of light, right? So the ledges are pretty visible in person, but in certain photos it can appear overblown because of the lighting situation. And then here is the back. Looks good. If you want to see the RGB, I can try and show it, but it kind of looks like, oh, that's the back, but this is the front. Yeah, I guess I have to turn off the light for you to see. Here, if I turn off the light, you can see some of the RGB there. Yeah. It depends on the switches you use too, how it diffuses. It's hard to capture on cam, yeah. But yep, there you have it. Too bright IRL. The set, yeah. The set, yeah, it is. It is definitely a bright set. I was kind of concerned about the colors of this set, so. But yeah, I saw some pictures and I figured it was actually okay in person. So it's just like camera things. And the fact that it is a bit... Oh, the RGB? Oh, the RGB too, yeah. I mean, but the RGB is like... I'm the type of person who turns on the RGB for like 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm a gamer. And then I turn it off. And then I forget about it. And I turn it on later sometime when I kind of need that extra spice in my life. And I'm like, man, I'm feeling so down. I need some RGB. And then I turn it on. And it's like about a minute. And then I turn it back off. But yeah, these switches are also kind of like translucent. They don't like, I mean, they're still like tinted though, so not as much light. Yeah, it looks good like little at a time, and then it gets old. I agree. Alright folks, well, that's all I have for today. So, if you have any questions, just let me know. But otherwise, let's go check out, see who's streaming right now. Is the guilty pleasure of anti-RGB people, aka me? Oh yeah, for sure, me too. I like RGB in small doses. Mochi Keycaps is streaming. Oh, do they sculpt and stuff? We could shoot over a raid to Mochi Keycaps. Why not? Let's make a kitty Keeb. Oh, I see them here. Yeah, sure, why not? We can show some love over to somebody we haven't raided before. Alright, let's do that. Why not? Mochi _ Keycaps. Alright, friends, let's wrap it up here. Miyaga raid, Lightning raid. What's your favorite mochi flavor? Or mochi filling? Flavor? Alright friends, we're gonna go raid Mochi Keycaps. They're building a cat theme board, I guess. They don't have a face cam actually, but they do have a top-down cam. I think they have like an animated character, and their chat's there, and it's the first time we're gonna check their stream out, so show some love over there. And again, thank you everyone for stopping by. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'll probably be building a brutal 1800 pretty soon, the V2, and then I should be building some newer boards like the Sunset TKL pretty soon, but I'll keep you guys posted on that later on. Alright, take it easy friends, and see you later.